Oh man, how long has it been? 40 years? Seems so much longer. I try not to remember the things I saw in the slums. Even at my age, the haunting memories still plague me. I still have everything too, you know. My dog tags, my uniform, and I still have Jack's handgun. Maybe I felt it was a memento? Something I could use to remember him by. It seems so demented now. Some days I just become lost in it all, and I put it up to my own chin. Something always stops me before I pull the trigger. Maybe it's a ring at the door, the pleasant chirp of a songbird, but mostly it's just the memory of what Jack did in my position. I still see that look in his eyes. I remember him, the way he just sort of gave out after the lead escaped his skull. It's so mortifying. Often I get the nightmares or I just go into this trance. I recall one that was particularly disturbing. My brother is at the door, or at least someone's door. He's pounding on it and screaming. Suddenly the door swings open and out comes a man brandishing a somewhat familiar-looking firearm. I can never see who it is. He shoots him right in the chest and drags his body in. More often than not, it's just me, alone in the fields, screaming and crying for anyone. Sometimes I'm trying to get help, others I'm just trying to find someone. It always ends the same way, though. I take that fucking gun and end it all. Once it's over, I'm fine. Once or twice or so I'm told I'd have an epileptic fit. As I said, I try not to remember. And really, I've been mostly successful. Well, almost. I just received a package. It was really heavy, which was a surprise considering its contents. It was something I hadn't seen in decades, maybe something I had whisked away in my deepest past memories. An M1 helmet, standard issue for Vietnam, packaged by some old, odd-smelling foam, not like the usual bubble wrap or peanuts that came with the delicate package. It had large crosses on it, red tape, the works. This should have sent up so many red flags, but I guess a part of me was just too curious. How could I have known? Inspecting it more, I found the inside had something etched into the rim. I was able to make out a few letters just by the feel, but for safe measure I grabbed a pocket light and shined it on the inscription. It was a name. Jack J. Dempsey, it read. I felt like vomiting. My hands couldn't stop trembling. I do recall Jack not wearing the headgear when he... Oh no, I couldn't do it. Have you ever seen that one moment in a television show where whenever someone really freaked out, everything starts spinning, getting all blurry, doesn't make sense? I always thought that was bullshit. I couldn't comprehend anything. The colors morphed together and formed psychedelic masses, and odd whistling took my ears by storm. I felt something itching, such intense, infuriating itching! Suddenly a familiar voice seemed to chime in my head. Time to face your demons. I fell back. I awoke what seemed like several hours later to a series of large clunks. It was pitch black, and I couldn't discern where the noise was coming from. They eventually seemed to drone out as a familiar buzzing noise pricked up my ears. Tinnitus-esque. This whole ordeal was bringing back too many painful memories. Before I could even fathom this, couldn't be any more unbearable. I smelled something, sweet and nostalgic, one I hadn't known since. The mere thought of that wretched place was enough to send me into a vomit-spewing mental breakdown at this point. I followed my nose until I found a single illuminated area. I recognized the smell now. Moonshine. Bob's moonshine. As soon as this clicked, more of the area suddenly revealed itself. Now I saw a desk, cards sprawled out about it, and the quietest chuckle. I knew that chuckle. I blinked hard and there it was. Bob, Mike, Jack, even me? All sitting around the table, cards in our hands and laughing hysterically. We were all frozen, but the sound was constant. Seeing them all together brought the strangest feeling, tears nonetheless, but I seemed both relieved and greatly saddened. I had almost forgotten their faces. Still, I couldn't bear the sadness. I just broke down right there on the table. Clunk, clunk. I hear it again. Clunk, clunk. There's something in my hand now. I wipe away the tears and stare at it. It's Jack's handgun. Clunk, clunk. Face your demons. Some sort of slurred whisper reaches my ears. I can't make it out. It feels warm all of a sudden. The sudden warmth turns into an all-too-familiar sensation as I whip around to find the source of the murmur. Face your demons. Clear as day, somehow terrifying. There stood a... He looked exactly like the one I... Do you remember me? It bellows. I can't see its face. I'm dead serious now. I try to muster up some words of defense, but all I can do is choke out a trembling, mortified whisper. Finally, I mutter something. You're not real. He looks at me and removes his helmet. There's a large scar on his face, reaching from both ends of his eyes, up his nose, smack dab in the forehead, just like the knife. You're not real! I say, a bit more determined. It chuckles and says, My dear boy, have you forgotten so easily? This time, I'm enraged. I have to get away. I can't stop myself this time. You're not real! You're not real! You're not fucking real! And with that, I take the handgun and fire once. Suddenly, the clonking is more rapid, panicked, louder. I can assure you, boy, this is very real. Face your demons. Claim your retribution. I just can't calm myself. I run up to this demon and I try to tackle him. He just dissipates in the mist as my body meets him. Shocked as I fall to the ground, the surrounding area, this black void, falls away like it was a cheap facade. The ground turns to molten rock and brimstone. Fire envelops us both. I don't care. As terrified as I might have been, I stood up and charged him again. This time I make contact. He steps back a bit and chuckles again. Suddenly, plop. Down comes a lifeless form and a small weapon. I turn, load the gun again, but he doesn't move. After I lower the gun, he bends down and picks up the lifeless form by the collar of its shirt. He then picks up the gun and cocks it. Except he doesn't point it at me. He places it underneath the chin of the thing he grasps. Let's get some lights, shall we? Click. A single bright red light flashes down upon the thing, and I just see it. It's Jack. It's fucking Jack. And he has a gun under his chin just like he had. Jack isn't just a ragdoll, though. He looks at me, those innocent bug eyes overwhelmed with worry and sorrow. The pulls a pin, and I feel helpless. Time to choose. Forgive, forget, or take your vengeance. Its voice is deep, gravely demonic. I do nothing. I'm more focused on my helpless friend. I get more and more angry. I'd never stop. I declared I will never stop, screaming from the top of my lungs. The clonking is pounding now, unforgiving, bulbous pounds. The looks at me, tilts his head and says, Is this really what you want, Johnny? I just stand there. So be it. Total deja vu. The thunderous bang is muffled by flesh. Jack's head flings back and explodes outward, and his eyes fade out. It was like I was a kid again, watching helplessly as my best friend helplessly as he took his own life. And for what? I fall to my knees, cover my face, and just scream. I holler, pound the ground, and cry. Blood drips down from my lips. There are no words to describe my fury. I look up, my face red, my hands clenched so tightly I could see the blood seep through my fingers. I grunt. Fuck you! The gook just chuckles and smilingly says, Many have. I screech, You did this! You fucking did this! No, he says. You did. That's it. That's enough. I can't take it anymore! I lift Jack's handgun and I start to charge for the... It just says, Bring it. Johnny, answer the door. I heard a thud. I'm coming in. About a foot or two away from him, I hear someone clearing their throat. I turn to find to the opposite side of this hell. There's a bright doorway. In it, Bob, Mike, and Jack are standing there. Bob looking particularly ashamed. I look at Jack. He has a stern look on his face. He shakes his head and holds out his arm. I look at myself, and before I can make my decision, Not gonna happen, says the... He lifts Jack's corpse by the head and starts laughing. And laughing. And laughing! Johnny! Johnny, get up! I'm back, charging like a bull. Before I get to the Kuka door, comes barreling down from the sky and separates us. I fling it open, pull the trigger, and... Johnny! Why? I'm back in my home. The door is flung open. The gun in my outstretched arm and smoking. The hellish inferno is gone. The pounding has stopped. I blink. I look down to see, in horror, my brother, lying motionless in a pool of blood, a chunk of lead crammed into his chest. His arm is still frozen, outstretched into a fist as if he was knocking. I look around, pick my brother's body up, and drag it into my house. I shut the door.